Hello, welcome to 70 Years, 70 Muppets, a fan podcast presented by ToughPigs.com. This is the podcast where we celebrate the Muppets' 70th anniversary with 70 straight weeks of spotlights on our favorite Muppet characters, from the most popular to the most obscure. I'm this week's host, Becca Petunia, and the Muppet of the Week is Pops. Performed originally by Jerry Nelson and then later by Matt Vogel, and making his world debut in 1980 with the season premiere of Season 5 of The Muppet Show. Pops is a lot more of an obscure character. He hasn't really shown up much lately, didn't show up at all until Season 5 of The Muppet Show, and even then was only on stage in 3 episodes. Pops' big deal was doing the cold opens in those episodes when he would let the guest star into the Muppet Theater. Now listen, I've said it before, I'm a huge fan of Season 5 of The Muppet Show. It's the one I grew up with because it's the one we had on VHS. My dad had taped them right from the TV, so I was really excited to get to talk about Pops, but I know that I'm really going to have to pull out all the stops to make this as good of an episode as possible. So I'm really excited to announce that I have the most special guest of all on this episode. We've already had Muppet performers, Muppet experts on the show, but folks, today I am really excited to tell you that I have Pops on this episode. Hang on, let me just go get him. Okay, hold on. All right. Wait. Okay, veggie burgers, fish fillet. Oh, here we go. Folks, I am so excited to introduce Pops. Now, one of these Pops is cherry flavored, one of these Pops is blue raspberry flavored, one of these Pops is lemon flavored, and they're ice cold right out of my freezer. And I'm here with Pops right here on this podcast. So Pops, what did you think about your role as the manager of the Happiness Hotel in Muppets Cape? Oh, I see what happened. Oh God, I'm so embarrassed. I got the wrong Pops. All right, let me try again. Hang on. Okay, the phone is ringing. I repeat, the phone is ringing, and I'm sure that on the line will be Pops. Hello, Pops?
Hi, how you doing, Bex?
Oh, wait. Okay, I see what happened here too. This isn't Pops the Muppet. It's my Pops. My father. How are you doing, Dad?
I'm doing well. I guess we're here to talk about Pops.
Yes, we are here to talk about Pops. It's really convenient that you called because I've been trying to get you on a Tough Pigs podcast for a while now because you're like an old school Muppet fan.
Oh yeah, from way back, from the original moment. In fact, it was so important in my life that I even think that I stood up my mother in a restaurant one day because we were sitting there having dinner, and all of a sudden I realized it was time for the Muppet Show. I left her at the table and I went into the bar to watch it on TV, and they changed it for me and we all watched it in the bar. So it was kind of fun.
So let's exactly. That's the kind of story that is exactly why I wanted you around here. And since you're my Pops, I figured you'd be a great person to talk about Pops. So we watched every Pops cold open from Season 5 of The Muppet Show, back to back to back.
It happened to be on YouTube, and they did a great job of putting it together, and it made me smile each time.
Yeah, so here's the thing. That stuff was really funny. I really enjoy it. I really enjoy Pops. He's like kind of clueless to the guest stars, often doesn't know who they are, often doesn't realize that Johnny Cash is right there in front of him because he's busy fixing the radio. Were there any in particular that stood out to you?
Well, it's funny because I was such a big fan. Little did I know that I would slowly morph into the characters one way or another. And Pops is a perfect example because I'm bald on top. I have hair, gray hair along the sides of my head and around my temples, and I have a white mustache. So yeah, I'm a lot, and I'm even forgetful like him a lot. In fact, that was one of the things they mentioned about it being bald. I think it was with Debbie Harry, where they were talking about her group, and Pops had no idea. And Blondie was the name of the group, and he said, "That's a dumb name. I would never pick that." And Debbie Harry said to him, "Well, if it was your group, you would call him Baldy."
That's the funny thing, and again, I just mentioned Johnny Cash and obviously Debbie Harry. Watching all of these back to back, it is really interesting to me just how many, honestly, amazing guest stars there were on season 5 of The Muppet Show. I mean, obviously, I know that. I've seen all the episodes. I've read Muppet Wiki. I've edited Muppet Wiki. But it's so interesting just to see it all back to back like that. Again, like Gladys Knight, which I think is my favorite one, is when Pops goes that he's Gladys Knight because it's much too hot during the day. And she says that only one person is allowed to make that joke per show. And then the guy fixing the roof makes the same joke and she shakes the ladder to knock him down. But like Gladys Knight, Johnny Cash, Paul Simon was there.
I think Paul Simon is one of my favorites. That joke about his song, 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover. And they had a lever. And Pops was trying to fix the lever. And Paul Simon said, "Looks good to me." And he pulls the lever and Pops falls through the floor. And then they said, Paul Simon looks at the camera and goes, "Well, I know there are 50 ways to," no, I did it wrong.
See, you said you were forgetful.
There are 50 ways to use your liver. There we go. There are 50 ways to use your lever.
I think it was, he says there's 50, I love a lever, but of course I know 50 ways to love a lever.
That's it, exactly.
Yeah, it's...
See, I said it was forgetful.
No, it's okay. There we go. But it is amazing, and one of the funny things to me that I think about is like, I know they don't necessarily film the episodes in order. It's not necessarily that they filmed the pop scene before they filmed the other stuff. But it is funny that like all of these big stars, again, some of like the biggest stars in the world,
time, yes.
Shirley Bassey, and
Dame Shirley
Dame,
Bassey.
thank you. And which James Bond was it? Who was on the Muppet? See, now I'm forgetful, and I'm not bald.
Oh gosh.
Everybody at home is yelling right now.
Yeah, put the answer out.
But James Bond, and it's just funny to me that like the first Muppet they interact with in all of these episodes is Pops, who like was literally unknown. Again, he wasn't on the show before this season.
But he was the perfect greeter. He was the perfect greeter for the jokes.
Yep.
They're like dad jokes. They really are dad jokes. But they were perfect. They was the setup. If there was something physical there, like when Senor Wenches showed up, there were oranges on the counter, and it was just normally for them to be there, although they were never there before.
Yeah.
It was just the perfect setup. It was always, "Who are you?" Because he didn't know who they were.
No,
and then
never.
All of a sudden, he realized who they were, and either the character said, "Well, I'm the guest," or the other one said, "I have tickets to the show. Kermit gave me tickets to the show. I'm not supposed to be the guest." That was with Gene Kelly.
Yes.
"I'm not supposed to be the guest. I'm here to see the show." "Oh, no, you're supposed to sing and dance." He goes, "Oh, I'm not doing that," which is a thing that Gene Kelly had pulled a number of times, I think, on other shows, where "I'm done dancing, I'm done singing, I'm just here."
But again, and you're right, like he is an unknown, or he was an unknown character at the time, but he does fit in so well, and the kind of like obliviousness that turns into just bad dad jokes is absolutely it certainly works. And I love the little ticket booth too, which obviously you didn't see in the earlier seasons because the show would just start in the guest star's dressing room. You know, Scooter would come in, which is great too. But like, I love the little set with like the ticket window, and they come in and then they go up the stairs. Which guest was the one that they like show walking up the stairs?
That was Tony Randall.
Yes, he's like, I gotta take my medicine.
He said, I'm gonna go up. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go up those stairs and do this lousy job or this lousy show.
Yeah.
But these were character actors or famous actors of the time that, like Tony Randall was in.
Everyone at home is yelling again.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. I don't remember either. I couldn't remember James and Bond.
The Odd Couple, which was based on a Walter Matthau movie. It was a TV series, and it's still on television now. You can still find it. These were actors and actresses. The song Goldfinger with Shirley Bassey is still a classic.
It was Roger Moore, right?
That's exactly it. Yes, it was.
It took me a minute.
But yeah, I think Pops was a perfect foil for those people, and I'm surprised to think that it was only that 5th season that he appeared in. He was in a couple of movies.
Yeah, I mean, certainly, you know, The Great Muppet Caper, right. He has the whole Happiness Hotel scene, which is really funny, too, and works so well.
And I believe, was he in The Christmas Carol?
He's briefly in The Christmas Carol. He's briefly in Treasure Island. He's in Muppets Most Wanted. He has a speaking line that's one of his only speaking lines with Matthew Vogel as the performer. Yeah, I think he absolutely could come back. I mean, it depends on if Disney is, you know, going to do anything with the Muppets in general, which hopefully they are. Disney is doing this great 70th anniversary celebration.
Which Tough Pigs is a part of.
That's true. We are. But yeah, I think he absolutely could come back. I think that the thing is the Pops jokes absolutely, I feel like, still really work. Because, like you said, they are such classic, just like, dad jokes. And that idea of, like, you know, a lovable, forgetful, older, bald man with a mustache.
Be careful.
And, yeah, no, I'm... is a great character, and a character who still works today. So
George the janitor is a little reminiscent of this character.
Yeah, I can see that.
But I think that Pops was so much better at it. And George was a little forgetful, and he made the wrong decisions and everything else. But Pops was just that person that I think you would like.
Yeah, I think I would. I refer to him as lovable for sure. And, you know, I think... Oh, I had a thing I was going to say. No, I forgot.
Welcome to the Pops world.
I know, exactly. Now I'm Pops. But, you know, I think that they used him also like a really good amount, because he definitely had one solid joke in every episode. Not much more than that. Like I said earlier, he's only on stage. I checked Muppet Wiki in 3 episodes. He sings Puppet Man is the only one I remember.
There was one other one.
Yeah, I mean there was apparently 3, but he's Geppetto, and he's got Pinocchio in that. But yeah, I think they use him just enough, and I'd like to see them use him more. Any other thoughts on Pops while I have you?
Not that I can really think of, but I think that season you had mentioned is just a good example of the whole Muppet Show series.
Absolutely.
And I can't recommend anyone in particular, although I would say that the Paul Simon one.
Well, we're big Paul Simon fans in general, you and I, so.
And just take a look, and if you can't find each season, just look for that compilation
yeah.
of just pops. And I think you'll be pleased, and I think you'll be surprised.
Thank you so much for giving me a call, even if you weren't the pops I had in mind.
I'm going to go have one. I'll see you later.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
70 Years, 70 Muppets is a Muppet Fan podcast presented by toughpigs.com, hosted by a whole myriad of people and edited by them as well. Produced by Jared Fairclough. The Muppets 70 logo used with permission by the Muppet Studio with thanks to Danny Iglesias, Frank Reif Snyder and Lee Slaughter. Don't forget to follow toughpigs.com on all social media platforms. You can support us by heading to patreon.com/toughpigs or buying a t-shirt at tpublic.com/toughpigs.